6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello there, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers, episode 222. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, is my good friend. You're Eric, right?
This is Eric, but this feels so weird, like to not have Ruuts here, Wes.
I know, right? 5 years of my good friend Ruuts. I know I'm going to slip up at least 100 times and call you Ruuts, like I did last week.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been here for a couple of years, but it's just me, you, and Ruuts. Like, I don't know. I love doing the show with you. I mean, we're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be a great show. It's just weird. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's like me without a beard.
It's a little different. It is a little different. We're definitely going to miss Ruuts, but hey, dude needs some time. So we're going to give him some time, let him recharge his batteries, and rest assured, we're going to continue kicking ass here while he's gone. But you know what? One thing that's different now, other than I had to spend like 3 hours building out all of these scenes from scratch, I can actually hear the intro music now. I haven't actually listened to the intro music in I don't know, probably 2 years since I've like very first put it up. So it's kind of cool being able to get into that vibe right before the show starts.
Yeah, and I was gonna tell you, I could hear it too. Like, we figured that I wouldn't be able to hear it, and I could hear it. So.
Oh, you did? You were able
Yep.
to? That's awesome. Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Well, maybe you'll be able to hear everything then. Let me ask you, can you hear this?
My mom. I can, and that sounds awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she does. For those of you who don't know, we've been doing this for almost 5 years now, and
episode 222, is that what you said?
222, and mind you, we don't do a numbered episode every week. I mean, it was like that for a long time, but now it's like every 3 or 4 weeks we'll do a numbered episode. So we've been at this a long time, and Ruuts has literally produced every episode since we went down from like the original 4-man group. Ruuts has produced every episode. I've done a couple of episodes myself, but those have all been Strangers in the Night. And Strangers in the Night's a different beast. You know, it's 3 scenes and then you go home. To produce one of these numbered episodes, there's probably 25 to 30 scenes here that I had to set up from scratch. I had to build the My Mom thing from scratch. I had to source all these trailers and stuff. So it's challenging, but I'm happy because everything seems to be working, and you can even hear the intro and the sound bites. So so
You know,
far so good. I'm pretty happy with it.
you, yeah, and you know why I'm happy? I didn't have to do any of that. No, so we have about 400 million things going on at Impact and
Mhm.
Flat VR Studios, and Wes is like, has his hands in probably 3/4 of it. You know, we're just giving him more work, and then you went and put an episode together today, and I'm like, I showed up about 15 minutes before we started, ready to roll.
Yeah, yeah. I hope you don't mind. I only work like 12 and a half hours today instead of my normal 15. So I'll give you
How
some
dare
extra
you?
time tomorrow.
I'm gonna go tell Jasmine right now. She's here somewhere.
Mepper in the chat says my mom is very loud tonight. You know who's always very loud tonight?
My mom.
Is it too loud? Is that too loud? If it's too loud, we'll knock it down a little bit. It's a work in progress.
Can she ever be too loud? I mean, really?
I'll knock it back just a touch. And they say the mic levels are much better than usual too. Yeah, I did put a little bit of attention into that. Although I got to say, like I've looked at Ruuts' settings 100 times trying to figure out why it's always quiet from his computer, and it looks the same as mine. So I literally don't know what's different about mine versus his.
No ninja.
No, yeah, I guess that's it. There's no ninja. We went back to using Discord capture just because that's the way I know, right? That's the way that I'm familiar with and know how to put together. And you know, obviously it's a work in progress here, and we're going to be polishing it up show to show, week to week. Like you might have noticed that the intro music didn't bleed in to the first scene like it normally does. I just didn't have time to set that up. That'll be here next week. After I get a few shows under my belt and get everything polished up and get comfortable with running the show while I'm hosting it, then we'll start looking at ways to improve it even more and make it even better going forward. I'll have the space to experiment a little bit now that I'm the one that has to do the work. It's kind of hard to, you know, suggest things to someone else and have them try to set it up for you just to say, you know what, I liked it better the other way, just scrap it. But now since it's me doing the work, like whenever I have an idea or something, I can kind of work it out in real time here. So just bear with us over the next few weeks as we get into a routine, and hopefully things will get polished up. Our quality level will go up, and when Ruuts comes back, we'll hand him off a show that's in even better shape than when he left. Looper says it's never too loud. Well, be careful what you ask for, friend.
Yeah.
Eric, but I guess you're here just in time. You are back in California. People are noticing that your wall of headsets aren't behind you anymore.
I know. I missed it already. I mean, yeah, literally, I was up at so last time was it yesterday or no? It was the day before yesterday, right? I don't even know. I'm lost now. It was the day before yesterday, right? Saturday.
I think so. We were on the air Sunday. It was Sunday we were on there. Today's Tuesday.
Sunday. Today's Tuesday. Yeah. Okay. So I flew out like first thing this morning at I was up at 3 a.m. East Coast time. Flew out like right away. I was in California by like 9 a.m. and been sitting here in meetings all day long, and I'm back in California. But Wes, literally, I leave tomorrow night. Like I haven't even unpacked my bag yet, and I have to repack to leave. Like my bag is sitting on my bed, still full. I haven't touched it, and then I have to leave tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I fly to Austin. I fly to go see the new immersed headset in Austin, which is pretty cool.
We've been waiting on this one for a minute, huh? I thought he was going to send us one. What happened to that?
No, I think it's still going to happen. This is their unveiling of the press conference thing. This is like a live event, and they're bringing they're actually bringing some people in. So they're flying me and Todd in and Jasmine to view the headset, be there for the opening remarks, and then we're actually going to be up on stage during their live broadcast and just talking about the kind of like the health of the XR industry a little bit towards the end of their thing, which is cool. And then we get the demo, and then then headsets are coming at some point. I think they'll announce tomorrow, like when they'll ship and stuff. But
That's
I'm
pretty
interested to see
awesome.
this thing, man. I want this thing to be real. You know what I mean? I'm hoping this thing is a real deal, cool headset that's amazing, and we'll let everybody know.
Well, it has taken a little while for them to get to this point. But with that said, I was worried that this thing was going to go the way of what was the other one called that
The
has been
Deca Gear.
no.
Oh, the Lynx XR1.
No.
There's a lot of them.
The other one,
Well,
the guy, we've talked to him every time we go to CES. He's there demoing. He's in the Ultra Leap booth one year. What was that guy's name?
oh, that's Lynx. That's
Oh, so it's Lynx. Yeah,
Stan
yeah,
the Rope.
that's the
That's
one I'm
Lynx.
thinking
That's
of.
the Lynx XR1.
So
Yeah, I'm
that
still
guy,
waiting on that. I kickstarted that thing 5 years ago. I still don't
when
have
he
it yet.
announced that, it was an amazing device, right? Like it was groundbreaking, never seen before. But it's taken so long in development now that like it's old tech and people are still waiting on it. I was kind of worried that that's the way that the immersed headset might go, but it seems like that's not going to be the case. That while it has taken a little while, they're still within their window that they should be able to sell a few of these things.
Yeah, what I really on board with, kind of knowing that this thing was going to happen was like when Intel got on board and kind of partnered with them. I knew that Intel's not going to get on board with a VR headset if they're not you know feeling that it's going to happen. And then when Qualcomm got on board, when those two, you get two big companies like that are like, okay, we'll get in here and we'll partner because we think it's something real and it's something that's going to really be there. I had a good feeling that they were going to at least ship. I don't know what they're going to ship, or I know nothing about it other than that I'm going to go there and put it on Wednesday or Thursday. But that's it. I mean, we'll see what it's like. But I don't know. I can tell you this. I've been talking to Renji, who is the CEO, Renji Bajoy. He's excited, Wes. I mean, you would think if it's not good, he'd be nervous, right? And he's been
Right.
messaging me like every couple of days, man, like fist, giving me like the fist pump emoji. Like he's just excited. So, um, yeah, I'm just hopeful. I'm hopeful it's great. We need more headsets. We need more workflow headsets. We need more cool, smaller frame. These things are tiny, man.
Yeah, 4K per
It's
eye too, right?
visors.
Or
Yeah, and visors
one
is
of them is,
a
yeah.
good term for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Our friend Alex VR joining us in chat. What's up, Alex? Good to see you. And then after this, are you going to Connect? That's like next week, right?
Yeah, so I fly into Austin, like I get in at like midnight on Wednesday, and then I'm there on Thursday for the event, and then I fly out of Austin to Tampa for a creator event. So like myself and Jasmine and Todd and like Jay Bratt, VR Central, Mateo 311, Otter Worldly, Genghis VR, Tech Man. We're all getting together in Tampa for a creator meetup and going to do some recording stuff there for a couple of days. And then on Monday, all of us fly out to MetaConnect, and we'll be there from Monday to Friday doing the
Awesome.
MetaConnect thing.
At least you don't have to go to Tokyo this year, right?
Oh my God. See, and the tough thing is I want to go to Tokyo. Like I want to do the Tokyo Game Show. I've wanted to do it for the last 2 years. I think it would be freaking amazing. Like that's a spectacle, and it's something I want to do. Just for business wise, I'd want to do it, but just for me personal, like to check it off my list of things I want to do. But damn, could you imagine, Wes? It's like literally right during. I'd have to
Yeah.
leave Connect and fly right to Japan.
Yeah, you couldn't do that, man, because I mean that's a flight, my man. I mean, you have to factor in a day just for jet lag going to the Far East like that. You wouldn't be able to just step off a plane from Connect and go straight off a 30-hour flight into a Tokyo Game Show. It just unfortunately doesn't work like that. The worst part of it is that the way that they've timed Tokyo Game Show, and this is a big deal. Tokyo Game Show, it's one of the biggest gaming expos in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't bode well for VR at the Tokyo Game Show that they timed it during MetaConnect. All of the VR industry is going to be in California that week. So, I mean, we have a few studios we know of that are going to be there, but they're all primarily Asian studios, right? So, like, none of the Western VR studios, or not many of them, are going to be in Tokyo. And I find that unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, even to the point where some of the Asian studios are coming to Connect and not going to Tokyo Game Show. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
know
nuts.
some of the developers I met in China when I was in China at the Oculus offices in China, like last month or a month and a half ago. They were like, "Hey, we'll see you at Connect." Where I'm like, "Wow, that's telling." When I mean, China and Japan are real close, man. It's like a puddle jump on a plane, so it's easy to go to, and they would rather come all the way to Meta Connect than go to Tokyo Game Show. So that's
Okay,
unfortunate.
this year's Connect, I'm starting to hear whispers that this is going to be a pretty significant one. I mean, not only because they're obviously going to be unveiling the Quest 3S, which is going to be their affordable Quest 3, Quest 3 and a Quest 2 shell, basically, for a reasonable price, which is amazing. But they're going to continue to lean heavily into the MR AR space, and I think they're going to have some announcements on those as well. I don't think that they canceled their Quest Pro 2 lightly. I think that there's another device that has taken the place of it in their flow, and we might start to see some whispers and mentions of that. If not I don't think there'll be an outright announcement of it, but I think we'll start to see the technology that's going to be in that next MR headset at this year's Connect. So it should be a good time. I wish I could go, but I imagine it'll be a good time for you and Jasmine and whoever else is going.
Yeah, no, and I'm saying I wish you were going. I wish you were there. It will be good. I don't think it'll be focused on games like it was last year. I
No.
think you're exactly right. Like what you're exactly saying, and the same thing I'm hearing too, is that it's going to be more focused on two things: AI, hardware. So
Yeah.
you're going to hear a more, again, Quest 3S. We're definitely going to see that. We'll probably be demoing that, I'm assuming. We're going to hear a lot about AI. Meta has their own AI platform, and they're going to push it hard. We may see some glasses stuff, which I think you'll hear some more things about the Ray-Ban Meta glasses and AI built into that. And then I think you'll definitely hear more about maybe some upcoming headsets or like at least a vision of what they're going to be doing beyond maybe even the Quest 4. But yeah, I like last year when I was there, it was all about demos. Remember, it was Ghostbusters demo, it was Stranger Things demo, it was Assassin's
MR.
Creed Nexus demo,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
it was BAM. Remember the board game BAM, the mixed reality board game BAM, that was big. And then it was Quest 3, of course. So yeah, I mean, where it was very much gaming last year, I don't think it'll be that this year. It'll definitely be hardware.
You know, well, that's true, and it probably won't live up to what they did last year with the introduction of mixed reality and all those games. Um, I do think we'll get more than we got the year before, which literally was like a 5-minute spot that didn't have any games in it. Um, but I think we'll get a little bit more this year in terms of gaming than that. Because one, we didn't have a metagaming showcase this year. They completely skipped over it. They didn't give us any gaming in April like they normally do. And two, they're launching a new Quest headset, and obviously they're going to want to support that with software. And yes, Batman is going to be the game that sells it at launch, but they might just give us a peek into what the next big title is going to be for it and start to build hype and sell headsets. So I am looking forward to it. I do think there will be some gaming news, but you're right. It probably won't be the extravaganza that we were privy to last year. Anyways, we got a good episode lined up here today, man. The gaming, as we alluded to during Sunday's episode, the gaming news sphere is starting to pick up a little bit. We're getting new games announced pretty regularly now, and we're also getting news of updates to games that we already have in our library, like this. VR's most immersive kayaking game gets real time multiplayer mode on PSVR 2 and Steam. So before we dive into this and start nitpicking it to death like we always do, this is in general a move in the right direction, right? At least now we can get in there and paddle around together, right?
Thank God. I mean, I guess. I mean, to me, like, you know how I feel about this game, like, or this experience. I guess at least give me multiplayer. If I'm gonna go in there and be bored and yawn, I want to rather go in there with you and do it and be bored together.
Yeah, we can go like dick around with things together. I guess
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
We could go and play with the turtle or whatever, and
yeah.
I don't know.
So here's the part where we start nitpicking it a little bit. No crossplay at launch. Steam players play together, PlayStation players play together. No crossplay. No head-to-head racing mode. They have the asynchronous racing mode right now, where you can race your friend's Ghost. Even though they have enabled the multiplayer co-op, it's only in free roam mode, so you can't race each other yet. So still a work in progress, obviously, but like I said at the top,
Mm.
it's a move in the right direction. And this game is, as much shit as we give it for not really being a game and it's just a tech demo, it's a really impressive tech demo, right? So most of the value this game had already was as a demo piece, something to put people in and show them what VR can do. I think that value has grown with this update because now you can not just put someone in the headset, but you can get in there with them and take them around and show them things. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean it's cool. I mean, I'm glad they're doing it. I mean, people are going to like it. People are going to enjoy it and go have fun and hang out with each other. And it is beautiful. It's a gorgeous game. Like I still show people this game when I want to show them like what I think VR will be eventually and like what the normal will be, or what try and show them the coolest experience. But yeah, I just get bored with the game very quickly. And what I wanted them to give us, they haven't given us, which is I'm like, give me climbing, give me adventure, let me do something besides kayak. Like let me kayak to where I want to go and then fish, or like let me go and like give me the climb. Give me part the climb, part kayak. Let me do something else besides
Exploration,
just
right?
paddling around. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be too crazy. What do you think about that Subside? I guess the full version of Subside's getting ready to release. There's been quite a few creators do videos on it now, and it looks like it's way more than what they gave us in the demo. Right, the demo they just kind of put us in a little area and let us run around, but apparently these areas are much more expansive in the regular game, and they've basically turned it into a collectathon where you can run around and you can collect coins and collectibles, and there's a progression system where you can basically level up your character to be able to swim faster or go longer without needing to come up for air, these sorts of things. And of course, as you upgrade your player stats and gain new abilities, it allows you to explore areas that you previously weren't able to explore without drowning. What do you think about that as a gameplay loop? Do you think it's going to be enough to sustain people, or do you think that they need to keep going and keep adding to it?
I think they're getting damn close. Like that was one of the things I was going to say kind of in the beginning when we started talking about kayak is like I think, there's a new player in town for kayak to be worried about. Like Subside I think it looks better. I think the water, effects are definitely better. And the underwater effects are way better. And there's just more to do here. Even the demo that I did was more fun for me than kayak. Like just swimming around and finding stuff. Like I could see where they were going with it at least, and I knew that once they fleshed it out, it would be fun. Um, having like shark cages and stuff like that, and like I don't know, man. Like to me, if I was kayak, I'd be worried. Like I like they're no longer the number one or the only number one in like high end water experience games. Like I really think that Subside could take it over, and this is a game for me now. Like there's something here, and I just hope I want it to be a little bit more, but I think it's enough. I think it's close to being enough right now.
Hope they
Have
send
you
us a
have you
key.
tried the new version?
No, I've reached out to these dudes like twice, or this dude, I guess I should say. I've reached out to him twice on Twitter, and I haven't gotten a response. And every time I go to like one of the other content creators, and I'm like, how to reach out to this guy. They're like, we'll tag him on Twitter. So I don't know what else to do. I guess we may end up just having to buy it when it comes out. But no, I would already be in it if I could get access to it.
Yeah.
Escape Portal in the chat says Subside is the kayak killer. That's what they used to call me when I lived in Seattle under a different name. Oops.
Kayak killer?
Did I say that out loud?
Oh man.
Anyways, no, I think this is a move in the right direction for kayak, and hopefully they continue to add to it. Hopefully they get that racing mode open, and crossplay going. And again, these are all free updates, so it's all good at the end of the day. Anyway, we have a lot cooler stuff than kayak to talk about. So why don't we say hello to our friends in chat? Friends like Left Control Gaming is here. Says kayak needs rapids. Well, they've got the one level with the rapids in it, but I agree. They could use a lot more of that. I thought that was a fun level to navigate. Even if you just let it kind of push you downstream and don't even try to paddle, it's a beautiful level to just kind of hang out and look at. So yeah. Looper, the Underground Game Cat, Kayak Killer is the protagonist in Phantom Covert Ops. That's a good point. I'd like to have a Phantom Covert Ops game that looks like Kayak. Now that would be awesome. Chrome Colossus is with us. Escape Portal, Kramer, 3K, the mostly Quest Game Cat. What's up? Awesome Tatum's here. JPEG Q. Old Darth is here. Philozix is here. Techno Glitch. What up? What's up, SpryGuy? Chinatown D. Calling it an early night, going to bed. We'll see you tomorrow, D. Gabriel 004 is here. Mal is here. Space Denison. Mepper here. Not sure Brondo is here. Salvador is here. Alex VR. Hello again. Who else is here? JS. Grandpa Barbecue or the Game Cat. Hello. Who else is here? Rogue TR is here. Jay the Foveated Remembered Game Cat is here. Who else? Scrolling. Evan Yabu is here. What's up, Evan Yabu? What's up, Q Creator? Good to see you, friend. Who else? Duggars K. It's Free VR Real Estate is here. That Dank Cheese is here. Hello, friends. Game Cat Behemoth is with us as well.
Behemoth.
Yeah, I know we're not too much longer on that one.
Yeah.
Four Willin, and as usual, Four Willin is as far to the north as I can scroll. Do we have anybody slip in? Ezek slipped in. What's up, Ezek?
Can I take you off this? I want to take you off schedule because this is what I want to do as my new Ruuts role. Do you think, speaking of Behemoth, do you think the pressure is off Behemoth now? Like with Batman and Metro coming about the same time that Behemoth is here. Like, remember when Behemoth was originally announced? It was like no gameplay. What is this? We don't even know what it is. It's gonna, it was already hyped before we even knew what kind of game it was. And then all of a sudden the pressure on that game was immense leading up to will this ever lead up to the hype? And do you feel like the pressure's off a little bit now because there's Batman has to be killer, it better be great. Metro better be killer, it better be great, and Behemoth is kind of sitting there in third going, I think I'm going to be okay now. I think I can just kind of I don't know if everybody's talking about Behemoth the way they should. Everybody's talking Batman.
Well, I think that the pressure's off a little bit just because people have seen Behemoth now. People have played Behemoth now. People know what to expect with it. So there's not going to really be too much surprise there. So I think that they have put forth their game to the reviewers out there, and it has been a success for them. So people trust our word, right? And So on that level, there's not as much pressure. On the other hand, you never know how the public's going to take to it because, while it's an awesome, fun game to play and it does things that we've never seen in VR before, it's not the deepest gameplay loop, right? This is still an action game. And it's got some progression, but it's light progression. It's got some exploration, but it's light exploration. It's a fairly linear action game. So some people might not appreciate that so much. And while you're right, all these other titles are in the space and coming out in this window now. Um, any one of those could blow it, and that would be the story, right? That'll be the one everyone shits on. But at the same time, if all these games come out and they're all awesome, then now you're competing for players' pocketbook, right? Because not everyone can buy every game, especially when they're 40, 50, and $60. So yes, a lot of that initial pressure has been alleviated, but it's still a very strategic dance through a minefield right now for them because the competition is going to be so high. If I'm them, I'm hoping some of these titles get delayed into the next year.
Oh man. You know what I would do if you know what the best thing to do is if like you got all these big titles, Wes, like $40 titles, $60 titles, huge budget titles. You know what I would do? I would buy a $14.99 trombone based game.
Yeah, I think we might see a lot of that
Saying
actually.
That's what I'm saying. $14.99. How do you beat that?
I heard that game blows. Get it? It blows. You know who else blows?
My mom. Yeah, she does.
Hopefully that wasn't as loud. You guys let me know how the my mom level is, and we'll get it dialed in. Hitman 3 already lessened the release pressure. That's a good point, old Dart. There was a lot of hype on that. Well, there was a moderate amount of hype on that, and they completely screwed it. Although I understand, Eric, that they're on the mend. It has had a significant patch already, and they're continuing to work on it. So this will be something that we cover for Game of the Month next month, and we won't play it until the last minute, right? So hopefully by the time that we actually get in there and try it out, that it's pretty good.
Yeah, and you know what I was gonna say. As soon as I saw old Darth mention that, I'm like, as broken as that game was, and as bad a review score it had, which I don't know what it was now, but I think last week at some point it was 2.6 average review score. It's still a top 5 selling game right now on the Quest store. So it doesn't matter. Like people are still buying it and playing it. It doesn't, you know what I mean? So that goes to show you that if you have a big enough IP, and people want to play the game, they're going to buy it anyway. They're going to buy it because, and the game is there. Like to me, like, the game itself is still there, even though it was technically a little broken and ugly, but the game is still there.
This is something that I've learned in my time working at Impact Reality, and something that I've been trying to, convey to other content creators and enthusiasts over the last few months or so, and just, casual conversation is, everyone in our space that lives in the VR bubble have this idea in our head that what we're interested in, what the hardcores really like and love, equates to what sells well. That's not always true. Actually, what sells well and is most profitable is stuff that appeals to casuals, people who aren't even watching YouTube channels, people who don't know who I am or who Gamertag or even Nathy or any of them. Like the majority of people who are buying VR games don't know about any of this shit. They're just going into their headset every now and then, and something on the Quest store catches their eye and they pick it up. So yeah, everyone in our bubble knows that Hitman 3 on Quest is shitty and rough, but everyone that's going into the 20 million Quest headsets out there don't know that, right? They're going in, they're seeing Hitman, and they're clicking on it and buying it, right? So yeah, this is something that I've been trying to kind of convey to people. Just because it isn't something that you're interested in or something that you particularly enjoy playing doesn't mean it's not going to be profitable. All you got to do is appeal to Joe and Sally Walmart and their children, and you can make quite a bit of money in VR. Yeah, Left Control Gaming calls them normies. Exactly. You have to appeal to the
Normies.
normies. Yeah. Anyways, with that said, hello, friends. Oh, we had another Slippy. Let him slip by me. Josh Taylor. What's up, Josh Taylor? Thanks for slipping in. Thank you, everybody. If I missed you, apologies. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for staying up late or getting up early, whatever the case may be for you. Let's get into some headlines.
Dear Gregor.
What? How do they know my name?
Did you transform into a bug in your bed? Are you feeling uncomfortable in your new skin? Everything seems unfamiliar and bizarre. Wondering if this is all just a bad dream? Relax. Everything is fine. Tower. A one-word answer to your problems. Acquaint yourself with amicable arthropod associates. Obtain opportunities for occupational augmentation. And discover a different destiny for yourself. For the best employees, restoration back to human form.
Just what is this tower?
Who told you about the tower? Who told you to come here?
Metamorphosis VR is a Kafka-esque narrative adventure coming to Quest. This from Henry Stockdale, Upload VR. Metamorphosis VR is a narrative adventure platformer inspired by Franz Kafka's novel, and it's out next month on Quest. Developed by Black Sun Productions, Metamorphosis originally released 4 years ago as a flat-screen game from Ovidworks and Untold Tales. Set in 1900s Vienna, you play as a traveling salesman called Gregor, who's been transformed into a cockroach. Using his newfound abilities, you must save his closest friend while finding a way to regain his humanity. While Metamorphosis VR takes inspiration from Kafka's 1915 novella The Metamorphosis, the upcoming game differs considerably in its narrative. Heading between the walls and floorboards, this adventure involves bug philosophers, insect mob bosses, and over 100 insect characters. Multiple endings are also available depending on your choices in the final chapter. One of VR's most powerful abilities is how it changes our perspective and sense of scale, said Corbin Chase, CEO of Black Sun Productions. Metamorphosis uniquely combines confusion, bewilderment, wonder, and beauty, all imparted by that shift in perspective. It feels like this game was always meant for VR. Metamorphosis VR will reach the MetaQuest platform on October 10th. Eric, I guess we first heard about this game a few weeks ago. And I've been pretty excited about it ever since. I mean, everyone who watches this channel knows what a big fan I am of surrealism in VR. I've been looking forward to the Wonderland sequel just for this very reason. So this is just kind of icing on the cake here, and the fact that this is a flat game coming over to VR just means that we're going to probably get something on a pretty good scale here. Like, this isn't going to be something that's over with in 3 hours. I expect this to be high quality. I expect it to be outside the box, and I'm very much looking forward to checking this one out.
Yeah, it's very cool. Actually, I actually met the developer and kind of talked to him about this game at GDC this past March. And because, we were talking because, we do a lot of the similar things. and we were like, you just kind of comparing notes, doing flat games to VR, and where they're going to this company is going to dip Wes into these types of experiences, right? They are very much going to lean into these very odd, again, Kafka-esque type of experiences. So they're going to be doing things a little bit different than us, but I love their path. Like, this is super smart. This game looks awesome, and yeah, talking to the developer, they seemed like really on the ball and knew what they were doing. Um, I'm impressed with what I've seen so far, and we've actually had an offer to go check this game out, Wes, but I don't think either of us can make it, which is kind of a bummer.
Well, I don't want to talk too much out of class. But it's not as hope is not as lost as you might think. We'll talk about it after the show. Um,
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I think this looks awesome. I think it's a good thing that Ruuts is not here because his inclination is going to be to kill this entire population because that's what he does for fun. He likes
Yeah,
to
that's
kill
true.
bugs. Yeah.
That's
Um,
true.
we don't want to kill all these little people. We love them in spite of their differences. And no, I think this is cool, man. This is right down my alley. I mean, what did they say here? Uh, Combines confusion, bewilderment, wonder, and beauty. I mean, this is just the type of thing that I absolutely love in VR. And on top of obviously picking an awesome title to adapt into VR officially, they're marketing it right too. Like nobody has heard about this game before. They announce it what 4 weeks, 4 weeks ahead of launch, and now that people's hype levels are already starting to build, and it's not going to have that usual pattern that we see where people announce 6 months ahead of time, and people are over it by the time it comes out. Like, I think this is how you do it, man. You announce it a month out. You remind people 2 weeks in. You remind people 3 days away, and then you release your game. I think they're killing it.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're a smaller title like this, it can be a good move to do that. Like, you're not going to compete with some of the bigger ones, and like, having a sustained, presence for months before your release is tough to do. There's a lot that has to go into that, and like, if you're not a AAA studio, how do you do that? Like, so, I think it could be smart to like do a surprise launch and then just hammer that launch, hammer that pre 3 4 week area, and like really double down on your marketing at that point. I think that could be a really good path for some of these smaller companies to do that. And like you said, it doesn't, you're gonna build hype, but it's not going to be that hype where people are just like kind of sick of it by the time the game gets here. It's gonna, by the time it builds up, hopefully people are just excited for it to play it, and hopefully it kind of fulfills what they want, which it looks pretty damn good, man.
Don't have long to wait and find out. Obviously, there's some the usual questions here, right? Like, is it coming to Steam? Is it coming to PlayStation VR? No word on that yet. But as Eric alluded to a moment ago, we do have a pretty good line on the developer here. So hopefully we can get these questions answered over the course of the next week or so, and maybe pick this conversation back up next week. Um, and I'm sure it'll be the same line, like, yeah, what we're planning on Steam VR at some point, maybe later next year, and we'd like to do PlayStation, but we haven't started development yet, so come back and ask us that a year from now. That's probably what they'll say, but you never know until you ask the questions, right? Evan Yabugus says it looks cool. I hope they iron out all the bugs. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Let's see here. Old Dar says he digs the music. Yeah, I mean, it was a really well put together trailer, and that's always a good sign, right? When a trailer is produced like crap, it doesn't inspire very much with regard to the game. But when you have a really well produced trailer like this one, it only helps to kind of bolster people's faith in the game and their hype to check it out when it releases. Looper says
Yeah,
Unreal
let's see
Engine
if you get
4. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
I
step on
I
you
was
there.
gonna, I was gonna say, unless you take it the opposite way, which we've seen, which is they pump so much money into the trailer for a shit game, and then the game ends up being all about how great they just made the trailer, but it's nowhere near like what the actual game is.
You know who else likes to take it the opposite way?
My mom!
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she does. Anyway, Metamorphosis VR coming to Quest in roughly 3.5 weeks. So we'll definitely be keeping up with this one. Man, October is already looking insane. Like even without this game, October was looking kind of crazy, and now we're just starting to get things like this coming out of the woodwork. We might have to stop playing mods pretty soon, Eric, and just stick
I,
to VR games for a while.
I know. What are you gonna do? Like, I don't know. No more mods. That's it. Standalone VR game only.
Did you know that you can get 2 Mountain Dew for $14 at the Dollar General store?
What? Really?
There it is. Everybody get on it
Damn.
now.
Do it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's an awesome game. Very much looking forward to it. But something definitely outside the box, like we love it. But not the only weird outside the box new VR title recently announced.
I know what people want to see. Picture this. After the end times.
Beyond the Badlands, a post-apocalyptic penitentiary. And you're busting out. In one hand, a fistful of lightning. In the other, 6 shots of hot justice. Based on the best-selling Prisoners of the Cyberhounds, a new dimension of deranged adventure awaits,
if you dare. No, I know what they'll say. Players don't want just another shooter. It needs something. It needs a twist.
One True Path. Fisherman's Tale Studio unveils mysterious VR adventure One True Path for Quest 3 and PCVR. This is from Scott Hayden at Road to VR. The Fisherman's Tale Studio Interspace VR today revealed its next game, One True Path, a narrative-driven VR adventure coming to Quest 3 and PCVR headsets starting this month. Interspace VR calls One True Path its most ambitious title to date, which is slated to follow the studio's patently mind-bending narrative style. Here's how the studio describes it. After the end times, beyond the Badlands, discover a post-apocalyptic Western, including a fresh take on the VR shooter genre. You find yourself in a post-apocalyptic penitentiary, and you're busting out. In one hand, a fistful of lightning. In the other, 6 shots of hot justice. You know who loves 6 shots? Hot.
My mom!
Anyway. Based on the best-selling Prisoners of the Cyberhounds from the Fiendish Fates gamebook series by Jack Stevenson, a new dimension of deranged adventure awaits, if you dare. Part 1 of the game is coming to MetaQuest 3 and Steam VR headsets in early access later this month. However, there's still plenty to learn about One True Path. We're apparently in for a slow drip of info over the next few weeks, leading up to early access, which is slated to take place by the end of September. The studio says we should keep our eyes peeled on the YouTube channel for more teasers on the 11th and the 18th of September. And, you know, it's strange that the 11th has already come and gone, and the 18th is tomorrow. More on that in a moment. But, Eric, the latest from Interspace VR, as it's mentioned here, this is the studio that brought us Fisherman's Tale and the Fisherman's Tale sequel. They also brought us Mask Maker. It's a studio known, as we mentioned earlier, for doing things that are outside of the box and giving us some of the better narrative-driven games over the last few years. With that said, as per usual, it seems like they're doing something very different here.
Yeah, and I don't. They've never done anything like a shooter. Like this is. I mean, and you know, they allude to this is going to be something different than just an old shooter. But there's definitely a shooter because you saw the gun in the game. So like, it's. I'm interested to see. You know, when you claim that in a game, you're like, we're going to do something different than your just old regular shooter. It better be something like that. But I think if a company's going to do it, it's going to be this company who, A Fisherman's Tale and Mask Maker, and I'm not a big puzzle person, were two of my favorite games. Like I thought Mask Maker was amazing, and Fisherman's Tale 2 for me was actually better than the first one. So I like where they go and what they think and like how their design minds work. If they can wrap a shooter into there, I'm all aboard on that.
Well, I like it. I think that it's cool that the genre in the first place, and I don't mean like the gameplay genre, but like the fact that they're doing post-apocalyptic Western right out the
Mm.
box. This is something that we need more of in VR, something that people want, something people wanted with Foglands, and they just failed miserably on delivering the gameplay. I don't expect, I think while there's going to be action in this game, I don't expect this to be an action game per se. I think it's going to be a narrative driven adventure like they're describing here. I think the shooting is just going to be secondary. And, it's unfortunate because, you know, anytime you put a gun in a game, people have certain expectations. And even if that's not what
Mm.
the primary game loop is about, a lot of people are going to judge it based on that mechanic. So hopefully it's polished enough and fun enough that that people that are fans of action games will enjoy it. I expect it to be pretty basic on the action front, but I don't think that that's where the value in this title is going to come in. I think it's going to come in its original narrative and the adventure that you're living through. And I think that the action gameplay will probably be secondary. Um,
Which is
as the thing,
unfortunate. Because
right?
like to me, like why show it? Why? I mean, I get you want to show it there, but like if it's gonna be like what you say, like I don't know if I would have showed it there in that trailer. Like to me, if you show the gun in the trailer and you talk about a shooter, you better give me something of a shooter with this game and just give me a cool, interesting twist on it. But I mean, if you trivialize the shooter part of it and it's pretty kind of like ho hum forgettable, I think you just shot yourself in the foot there because you should. I would have just focused on what the cool part of the game is because the other part does look cool. So I hope it's better than you're thinking
Well,
for the shooter
I'm not
part.
so sure that what they're saying here it applies beyond this first episode. I think this is going to be episodic. I think that's the reason why they're drip feeding these this information about the title. And well, why don't we do this? Before we move on, like they mentioned, more information on the 11th, more information on tomorrow on the 18th. We do have the other trailer that dropped last week. Why don't we take a
Hmm,
look at that and then we'll
there we go.
come back.
I still know what people want. Sci-fi? I'll give them sci-fi.
Trapped on an intergalactic abattoir, an insatiable alien tyrant wants your brain on the butcher's block. But your brain is a weapon. Seize enemies with psychokinetics and jump from body to body to stay one step ahead.
Best of all, it's already written, based on the best-selling 90s gamebook series. Don't know, kids don't want 90s. Ah, that's it. They want a twist. I'll give them a twist.
Now I get it. This is Twilight Zone.
Yeah, yeah. This is episodic. Each one of these novels that you're playing through, it's they're modeling their game structure and their narrative structure after those old choose your own adventure novels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So while the
Yep.
first one is like post-apocalyptic Western, the second one has you in some kind of intergalactic sci-fi thing where there is no gun. You're just using telepathy um, and telekinesis, right? You're jumping from body to body to brain and using like force powers to manipulate the environment and I guess battle. Um, so again, maybe the shooting's not the going to be the strength of the first episode, but that don't mean that the second episode won't be awesome.
Yeah, or maybe that one episode is shooting, and then just like Twilight Zone was. One episode was about shooting, and then one episode was about like a psychedelic adventure through your mind, and then or through an alien world, and then what was the other episode? It was like like a hide and seek style of game. So we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
see several different types of gameplay here, I guess. We might. Do you think we'll see another trailer released of another book,
I
another
think we will.
gameplay
I think we're very likely to see that
tomorrow?
tomorrow. Yep, or
Yeah,
today for some of us. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it because again, uh, that's one of the things I value most in especially these indie VR releases. I like to see stuff different. I like to play things that I haven't played before. And at least through these first two, it seems like they're putting us in some very unique scenarios. And I like narrative heavy single player games. So this is right down my alley. And even though it is, kind of cartoony, comic booky graphics, it don't look bad. It looks good on the
I like
trailer, and
it.
typically, if it looks good in the trailer, it looks even better um, in the headset.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
actually going to mention before we started thinking about the episodic thing. I was going to mention that I thought the graphics looked pretty cool. I like that kind of like that style of graphic. Reminds me almost of like The Last Worker.
yeah,
That kind of like color, art book color, style of graphics. I think it looks pretty cool.
yeah, looks pretty awesome. A lot of people in the chat, or a few people in the chat anyway, keep saying that it sounds like Mark Hamill doing the voice
Really?
acting, and it might be. You never know, man. Um, he does a lot of voice acting for cartoons and video games and stuff. So I wouldn't be shocked if they landed him for something like this. Anyway, One True Path from Inner Space. Stay tuned for more on this. Again, we should have some more info on this in a few hours. Tag me up on Discord if you aren't able to catch that news tomorrow, and we'll let you know everything that we can find out about it. But again,
You think?
go ahead.
I was going to say, you think the title "One True Path" is like they tie these, eventually they tie these three experiences together as like a cohesive story in some way?
It's possible, or it could be like one of those choose your own adventure styles where if you go the wrong path, you're going to find a dead end, and you'll have to
Start
load
over.
it. You have to
Cool.
load a previous save to kind of start down another path to find your way through the narrative. That would be a cool concept if that's true. I mean, imagine if you start down one path based on a choice that you made, and 30 minutes later you come to a dead end and you get killed or something. And then, obviously you don't want to have to start the whole thing over, but if they let you kind of go back and load a specific save and try to take another path from there, that's again very unique, right? A very unique concept for a VR game. Looper says, by the way, Last Worker is now on Viport Infinity for anyone who's interested. That's now available.
It's a good one, especially for
Anyway,
Infinity.
we're up to a good start here, man. 2 kind of mid-grade indie titles, 2 very unique gameplay concepts, both that look pretty cool. Both of them out within a month. Again, I love it. Awesome. Tell us about your game, build it up for a month, and then give it to us. I think that's great. Anyways, we move along to headline number 3, and this one I'm quite sure that more than a few of you will be familiar with.
Titties and Gentlemen, welcome to the brand new Horde mode. I have the honor of introducing your host for tonight, the one and only General Victor Serrano.
Welcome to the Battle Palace. Look at that! A symphony of death! Brace yourself for a real challenge, recruit!
Bulletstorm VR shows off new Horde mode in its latest trailer. This is bleedingcool.com. Bulletstorm VR has a brand new mode on the way next week, as players will experience Horde mode as a part of a new free update. People Can Fly and Incuvo have a new trailer out for Bulletstorm VR, as they revealed a brand new Horde mode being added to the game. If the title didn't tip you off, this is basically a bombardment of enemies that will test your skills in multiple ways and force you to be on your best performance. You can check out more of what's to come with the trailer that we just watched, and the new mode will be added as a part of the 1.4 update coming on September 19th. So the rest of this specific article just goes on to tell us what Bulletstorm VR is. I think we all already know what Bulletstorm VR is, so I'll spare you all of that. But Eric, this game launched to quite a lot of controversy because it was in a pretty rough shape when it launched. It was not polished on any of the platforms that it launched on, and it was janky and just not very fun. They recently, with their 1.3 update, fixed most of the things that people were complaining about at launch. So I kind of thought that might be it from the studio for a while, but apparently they've continued to work on it now to the point that they're giving us new content for this VR adaptation, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of those games I was just super excited about. Like, I was really, really looking forward to this game. It was one of the ones I kind of stuck my pin into, like you say, this is one that, because this is my kind of game. And when it came out, it got panned so bad. By the time I went to play it, Wes, I almost was trying to stay away from it because I didn't want to ruin my experience with it. And I'm like, I'm gonna wait. But I ended up going in a little bit after launch, like maybe a week or two after launch, and they had actually patched a couple of things almost immediately. And I thought it was fun. Like, I only played probably like maybe 45 minutes to an hour of it, but I thought it was a lot of fun. And I thought it was way better than people. Again, this is another one where I think people are just, people get into this thing where they just want to like absolutely kill a game and pan it. And while I had issues, I know, I don't think it was as bad as what people said it was, but I had fun in it when I was in there.
I agree with that in general. I think this is another case of a game being a victim of its own hype. People saw Bulletstorm coming to VR, and this was the PS3 era game that a lot of people loved, and people got excited about it without thinking back to what kind of a game Bulletstorm actually was. It's an arcade game, right? It's not a super deep game, in terms of like progression and things. This is a fast-paced arcade shooter. And, as is often the case with these arcade games, people got into it and thought it was kind of shallow and was underwhelmed with it. But again, it was all, people were playing this up to be like a Game of the Year candidate when it never was going to be that. So I agree with you. Although, a lot of the criticism was legitimate. It was janky in a lot of ways. And again, they fixed a lot of that recently. So I was kind of surprised about that. Now, am I a big fan of Horde mode in games? Not particularly. I'd much rather play through the campaign in this game than do a Horde mode. But I think it's cool that they're putting new content in the game. And what I find super interesting about all these articles on it is the part of the like update list that I was most excited about didn't even get reported on in any of the articles. This is more than just horde mode. The Bulletstorm VR update also features 5 brand new skill shots, immersive charge shots, left-handed support, adjustable holsters, improved levels, improved visuals, improved performance, improved physics, improved animations, and improved enemy AI. So this isn't just new content, but this is another upgrade like the 1.3 upgrade was that polishes the game all around, gives your character new abilities, new shots, and improves on the overall gameplay through the campaign as well.
It looks fast. It looks fun. I like I like horde mode. Like when horde modes are done good, man, they can be a lot of fun, especially with multiple people. So I don't know. I'm really down for this one. I was. Do we know how many people? Is there multiple people? Like 4, 2, 1?
I don't know if the horde mode is multiplayer or not. Give me just a moment here. I've kind of messed myself up and closed the window that I should not have closed. And there we go. Back on Bulletstorm. Let me get my notes back up here and see if it says anything about co-op play. Throws players into 3 new and bespoke murder domes.
I mean, it doesn't show any multiplayer gameplay in there. It only shows single player, but I don't know. I was just kind of hoping that maybe they would show co-op.
Single player horde mode is kind of weird, but that's what
Mhm.
this seems like it might be.
It's a
Which is
bit
kind
of
of
a
odd,
miss
right?
if it is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even the game, like the gameplay of the campaign is co-op gameplay, right? You're playing
Hmm.
with an AI beside of you. So I think
Right.
like if they really want to make this a game that people rave about and really love, I think they need to unlock that co-op. They need to make the campaign a 2-player campaign. Um, and then, then we're talking. Then it's something people will actually will get excited about.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I can tell you a reason why today, because we were offered access into this game to go check it out, the horde mode, and I was talking to Skiva earlier, and I'm like horde modes is available now, for creators to go take a look at this. I'm like, do you want to go play this with me? Let's go hang out and play this game. And he was like, yeah. He's like, we haven't done anything in a while. So these are kind of things that get people into games. Like if you're a developer, like you get this and you're like, hey, your buddy wants to go buy it, and all of a sudden you bought the copy, and then your buddy goes and buys a copy because he wants to go in and play with you, or they want to go in and play with you. I mean, I don't know. It makes a whole bunch of sense to me if you did at least make it co-op. I mean, you don't have to go more than 2, but like I don't know. A lot of these horde modes are up to 4. I mean, look at Crossfire Sierra Squad. Look at After the Fall. Um, um, Vertigo. What's the other one from Vertigo? The Arizona Sunshine. So you get multiple people and almost all of those.
Well, are you going to be around this Saturday for Strangers in the Night, or are you going to be out of town?
I will be. Yeah, I'll be. I'm gonna be. I'll be in Florida, but I'll be at that creator event I was talking about.
I see. Okay. Well, I'll probably be running solo this week, but this update does launch on the 19th. If this is something that you're all interested in and would like to see me cover it, either by giving impressions or streaming some gameplay on Saturday, let me know in the comments down below. I do have a early key for the update on Steam. I can play this right now. If you guys are interested in it, we'll give it a look and cover it this week. Just like I said, let me know.
I think that makes a lot of sense. So have you played this game though, right? Did you play
I
it?
played it on PlayStation. I never played Steam version. I never played Quest version. I played it on PlayStation. And I played it fairly recently. When they did 1.3, I went back into it for a little while and checked it out, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I still haven't really dove into it heavy and put like multiple hours of gameplay into it. Now might be the time for that. So yeah, again, if you guys are interested in this, by Saturday, the PlayStation version will be updated,
Mm-hmm.
and I can even compare if you guys are interested, and we can play it on Steam and play it on PlayStation and see how they stack up. GameCat Behemoth is down. All right, well, maybe we do that. Anyways, we are coming up to the end of headlines, and if I didn't spoil it just a moment ago by switching screens on accident, another cool flat to VR adaptation being done. It seems like it's all the rage now, Eric. For some reason, people like to adapt these flat games in VR.
Yeah, right.
Backrooms inspired PC adventure Pools is getting VR support soon. This from Scott Hayden, Road to VR. Games inspired by the Backrooms internet lore are usually pretty scary, but PC game Pools has a different way of getting under your skin. No monsters, just pools. And soon you'll be able to play in VR. Developer Tensori is bringing VR support to Pools soon, which is slated to arrive as a free update to the PC game. The game, which throws you into an eerie, maze-like pool facility, is also heading to PS5, which according to the PlayStation Store listing, will also be bundled in for PSVR 2. Pools can feel oppressive at times by invoking fears of getting lost, the dark, tight spaces, and liminal space architecture, the studio says, having released the game on Steam earlier this year to overall very positive user reviews. There's no release date yet. However, Tensori says in a Steam update that they'll be announcing all the details on when the update is coming real soon. The studio said previously, while it's making no promises, during this year is likely. Notably, the studio hasn't mentioned whether or not it's eyeing Quest support at this time, although they hope they do.
Mm-hmm.
The article says we hope they do, but I mean, obviously, Eric, the whole draw of a game like this is super realism, super immersive. Even on a Quest 3, I'm skeptical that they would be able to reach the level of visual fidelity that they would need to make this as good as it needs to be. On the other hand, there is Red Matter 2 on Quest 2, which is super realistic and immersive. And, a lot of the times when people talk about why Red Matter is able to reach such levels of fidelity, it's because they largely have empty spaces with not lots of assets, no enemies coming at you. And that absolutely is the case here. This is just basically water physics, period. So, I guess they could probably pull this off on a Quest 3 if they were super talented, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we always go back to like Red Matter as like it's like a unicorn, though, right? Like because we don't see it repeated very often. Like, and I do think what you're saying is 100% true. Like the the less assets you're going to pour into into a scene, the much easier it is to do these things. But do I think they'll be able to pull off a red matter? Probably not. Not many people have been able to do it. Like, it's just such a hard thing to do, but it's possible. The game itself it's all about atmosphere. It's all about sound. It's all about, this aloneness of the game. It's not about visuals, right? So I think it'll all be cool anyway, no matter what. But I mean, again, yeah, I think you're right with the environments. I mean, there's not a ton of color. I mean, the lighting is fairly basic. I mean, it's possible.
Are you at all excited for this? I don't know how to feel about it.
I am not. I mean, on one hand, I know what you're saying. Like it could be creepy and scary, which is right up your alley. So I mean, yeah, I think you could, like, this game could surprise you, and you might love this game. But like, I don't know. For me, I have no interest in this game whatsoever.
Well, I don't think it's going to scare me very much. I'm not afraid of water, and I can't swim. I'm still not afraid of water.
You can't swim, really? Like,
I
you
know,
can't
I
swim at
can't
all?
swim. No, I can't.
No way, really?
Nope, never learned to swim.
Oh, man.
So I'm not really looking forward to it on that level. I don't think it's going to creep me out or scare me in the least. What I do love about VR though is the ability to make you feel like you're somewhere, right? If a game is like super immersive, you develop memories not of playing a game, but you develop memories of being in a place. And the places and the rooms in this game are unique enough that I might get some enjoyment out of exploring them, right? If it's as immersive as it seems to be. Like, this looks like a game that could be an early level in Boneworks or something, right? Before you get to enemies. It looks like it's super realistic. And if it is that immersive, just the weirdness of it might be enough to pull me through on it. If I didn't already know about the game's reputation, I probably wouldn't give it a second thought. Like, I probably wouldn't even look and think about it. But it is, again, mostly positive reviews. People rave about this game. So there has to be something to it, right?
I don't know. Like, I see. I know nothing about the flat version of the game, and maybe that's why I don't care about this at all. It looks super boring to me because, like, is it just about the environments? Is there a story here? Do you know? Is there anything like to give you depth of game, or is it just fucking walking into rooms that have water?
It's just walking. It's just walking in rooms that have water. It's one of those, the newest. It's the newest thing. Liminal space games, right? People
Yeah,
have
liminal
this
space and
fear.
then audio. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
audio too. It's
Yeah,
like
well,
it's like
right.
it's like ASMR, right? Like people like to watch those people eating food videos for the noise and the sound, and like people, and videos of people crunching up like soap and stuff like that because the sounds it makes.
It's because people are all like on the autism spectrum from mercury and vaccines. like
That's
1 out
true.
of 5 people are on the autism spectrum. The younger generations. So they like weird shit like that, I guess.
hmm
Inferno 9 says that you really feel the dread and loneliness in pools, and all the sounds are top notch. 5 by NACA Sprays says pools is very immersive. It's an experience, not fun, just an experience, a nice immersive experience.
That's right up my alley.
Yeah, that's what
It's
you
not
love,
fun.
right?
I
I'd rather
wanna-
do something like this. This just highlights the difference in everybody's taste, because I would rather do something like this than like a run of the mill roguelite.
Really?
I'm done with those. Like, give me something super immersive and memorable.
Well, I mean, I don't want a run of the mill roguelite. I mean, I want a good roguelite, but
Well, yeah.
God, I would. But I mean, I mean, you give me a decent roguelite, I'm way happier than this. I mean, if you're describing the game and you're like, it's an experience. It's not fun, but it's an experience. That's not something I want to experience. Like, there are experiences I like. Biolum was one of the best experiences I've ever done.
Yes.
Like,
We need to revisit that. We've
Yeah.
been revisiting classics lately since PSVR 2 headset came out, and now we have the OLED to plug into Steam. And that was one of the first ones that came to mind because of all of the colors and the darks in that game. You know, it would translate well to an OLED.
Heck yeah, I didn't even think about that with the PlayStation headset now. Definitely.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe next
but
time we
yeah,
have you on, we'll put that on the docket because it only takes about a half an hour to play through it, and it's really cool.
yeah, and that's an experience. Like it's not like there's not a
Mhm.
ton of gameplay there, but you know what? It's fun. It's exciting. Like if you tell me this game's not fun, but it's an experience, that doesn't tempt me to go play. Like
Well,
I'm like,
dude,
oh,
there's water like
well, okay.
everywhere,
Oh, wait a
and
minute, hold
and
on. I
and
changed my mind.
and and the floor was all bendy where you couldn't tell where the floor and the wall meet. Like, isn't that weird?
Yeah, amazing.
Where does the floor stop and the wall begin?
Oh man. I mean, I guess I get it. Like just listen to the trailer. You can hear like the sound the water makes. It sounds super realistic. I mean, it's cool, but like I see me playing that for like 15 minutes going, I'm out.
Old Darth says it's kayak VR with no kayak.
Take the most fun thing out of kayak VR, and then that's what you get. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm mildly interested in it. I will check it out because, you guys know me. I like weird shit and I like a good immersive VR experience. So I'll give it a shot. I hope it pulls me through. I'm not sure that it will.
I would say if anybody's gonna enjoy this game, it could be you. And if you don't enjoy it, then I don't know. I
Then
don't, I
nobody
don't
will. Right.
enjoy it.
Boy, Roots got out, just in time, didn't he?
Oh,
This is.
he would kill this thing.
Oh, man. Anyway, that's our headlines for the week, ladies and gents. We move on to the week's reminders, and we're kicking it off the way we always do with what's out this week. And there's actually quite a bit coming out this week. So why don't we take a look?
Your look is authentically Bavarian, elegant, and stylish.
Now I see why this is level 3.
Oktoberfest, the official game, hits MetaQuest Early Access this Friday, September 20th. Eric, this is a title that you and I are both very familiar with, as this, full disclosure, is an Impact Reality client.
Can you
And
tell from the trailer?
yeah, right. There's like I'm in there, Wise is in there, Miles is in there. Like we literally went in this last Friday and shot most of the footage that you're looking at in this trailer. Those of you who are in the Discord might remember me throwing out an invitation to all of you to come and join us in this title. And Classy Grandma was in there, Eric. That was pretty cool.
I know, right? Everybody had a chance to actually be in this trailer, and if you had like taken Wes up on it, which is super cool, man. I love seeing like you see everybody's name in there. It was just super cool. I was just watching that trailer and seeing everybody's name, and like, what was cool is like, again, this is an Impact title, but I can tell you this: we went in, we did this game because we try and get in and do a gameplay at the end of our week every week. Because again, we're a VR company. If we don't get in and do VR stuff, that's dumb. We actually went into this game because we wanted to as a team and just go have fun, and we did, and we had a blast. There's a lot here that's just fun, man. It's just as the opposite of the pools game, there is fun here.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't. When we first brought them in, I didn't really expect to like this game very much. I'm not a big guy on casual multiplayer games, but I've been quite pleasantly surprised how good and how polished the experience is. while I don't normally care for casual multiplayer games, what I do care for, and you guys know this about me, I love amusement parks and fairs, right? I love that atmosphere, and they've really nailed that. Um, Obviously, the visuals are kind of cartoony, but the sounds and the way the map is laid out is very true to life. So you get in here with your friends, and you actually feel like you're at the fair, like you're at an amusement park. It is early access. It's launching with, I think, 10 or 12 playable events or playable activities in it. And some of those are like carnival game type things. Like there's one that has you throwing a ball to knock the cans down. There's a shooting game in it. There's tons of stuff like that. They all have leaderboards that get reset every month, and then there's an overall leaderboard that doesn't reset. And there's like a Hall of Fame you'll find in there that will have a picture of your avatar in 3D next to your score if you manage to get the top of the leaderboard. Not only that, there's a couple of rides in there, Eric, like amusement park style rides. And these rides are no joke. If you don't have your VR legs, these are going to put your fucking stomach in your throat. They're like, it's an intense experience, and it's very fun.
It is, man. I like that they don't like sugarcoat it. Like, there's a ride here, man, that like it will get you. Like, it even makes me feel like I don't feel like sick, but I can tell, like I can see like something's there. Like, if you're not normally used to getting motion sickness, at least you can like tell when things would get you motion sickness, and that's what I feel in the couple of these things, and it's awesome. But it's so much fun doing it. Like, I don't know. I love social experiences. And I love doing things with other people, and you can get a lot of people in this game at one time, which is super cool. There's not a lot of games like that you can get a lot of people in the same lobby together. So, I don't know, it's cool, man. And just like the gun, the shooting range is fun. There's a trombone thing in there, like Trombone Champ, like the flat part of the game. That's fun to do. There's like a beer pouring game. I mean, there's so much in here, man. Crazy. And it's got balloons.
Yeah,
It's got balloons.
Free to play with up to 17 of your friends. Like, you can get a real crew and go into this game. That's another thing. Like, people, if you're one of these people who have to normally leave people out of Walkabout Mini Golf because it doesn't have enough slots for you and all your friends, you won't have to worry about that here, man. You can take a real party up in this thing. And again, it's 100%.
You know who has a lot of slots for you and your friends?
My mom!
You know who likes to take it up in that thing?
My mom!
Yeah, she does. Anyway, no, it's super cool. And again, it's free. Why not put it in your library? Why not check it out? It comes out this Friday. Not at the usual time. I think they're coming out Friday evening. So like 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So if it's not up at 1 o'clock, don't panic. It's just coming out a little bit later in the day. But this will be ready for you to add to your library and download by the weekend. And if you don't want to wait, you can just go to their Discord, and they have a beta available right now that anyone can go in and join. So go check it out. It's super cool. Moving along. Enough quest talk, Eric. Let's so I think that we're back. Sorry about that, guys. My OBS just stopped responding to my button presses for whatever reason. But we were able to recover it, and I do believe that we're back here. The chat's blaming it on Ruuts, and I think that's a good call.
I may have started that.
I blame it on Sony. I blame it on Sony.
Yeah,
when
me
I start
too.
talking about PSVR 2, then all of a sudden everything stops working. So anyway, take 2. Let's try it again. Again, something exciting for the PSVR 2 people.
The land of opportunities.
Yeah, we're back up. Are we still
The
showing?
committee assures
Oktoberfest?
you that the Majorsk security zone is under total control.
By taking advantage of our free will missions program, you will access advanced and reliable equipment. Balanced nutrition, latest technology, and comfortable living environment. Staying inside the radius offers unmatched benefits. The Changed can enjoy the pure ecology of the radius, its unique wildlife, and plenty of leisure opportunities.
You can hear me.
Simply follow our guidelines at all times and avoid suspicious encounters. Venture into the radius. Explore the unknown. Become a hero. The land of opportunities. You're trapped in forever.
Into the Radius, coming to our beloved PlayStation VR 2 platform this Thursday. Eric, I've done enough hyping up this game over the last 2 months. Tell these people how good Into the Radius is.
It's freaking great, man. It's such a good game. Like, I don't know. Like, this CM Studios just knows how to make good VR games, man. And like, they do everything right. And like, I don't know. They've been doing it for a long time, and it's great. I'm glad it's fun. Heading over to the PlayStation. Finally, everybody gets a chance to enjoy it over there.
I'm glad they waited. I'm glad that they waited and polished it up and made it good. Assuming that it's good. Obviously, we can't really talk about the launch version of this until it's time that we can talk about it. But I have a lot of faith that it's going to be very good. Because they are such a high quality studio, and they're not a big team. They know how to make good polished VR experiences that are substantive and fun to play and challenging and creepy and immersive and original. Into the Radius is one of the best titles in the VR library in general. I was going to say Steam VR, but it's great on Quest too. Like it's just amazing no matter where you play it at. And I'm really happy that, at the same time that Steam VR players are basically being beta testers for the sequel, the PlayStation VR 2 players are going to get a fully fleshed out and polished game that literally will take you dozens of hours to play through if it hooks you.
Mm-hmm.
Cop Dog says, is this a horror game? Not exactly. This is a sci-fi game, but it is scary. There are some scary moments in this game and some scary enemies. So, I wouldn't call it a horror game per se. It's definitely not for the faint of heart.
You get that alone feeling, like you're talking, like somebody was talking about earlier, like the whole idea of isolation for pools and like being alone. You very much get that vibe here with this. Like you're out in the radius, and you're like always alone, and there's freaking these shadow creatures that are constantly everywhere. The music is eerie and suspenseful, and like it builds. It's there's elements that will make you feel on edge for sure.
It's excellent. People in the chat so convinced by my ravings and rantings over the last couple of months that they're doing the unthinkable and breaking the one rule that you should never break, and they're pre-ordering. Looper's pre-ordering it. GameCat Behemoth's pre-ordering it. Headbite pre-ordered it. You know what? I think you're safe. I think you're safe here. Even if it does launch janky, which I don't expect it to. I mean, this is a game that's been in development for 4 years at this point. Like, I expect it to be pretty polished. Even if it does, though, come out with some jank, this game, when it launched into early access on Steam, was maybe the jankiest thing that I've ever played. Like, it was terrible. It was terrible the second time we went back into it. It was terrible. But they kept at it. Scion kept on to us and kept telling us, you got to check it out. It's way better. It's way better. It's way better. We eventually went back in and found out it was good. And then after we found out it was good, they overhauled the game like 4 more times to make it into the masterpiece that it is right now. So super
Yeah.
excited for the PSVR community this week. They have something really good to play.
Yeah, and even to the point of what you're saying, like the Steam version came out flawed, and they worked on it and they worked on it. It was early access, so they worked on it, they worked on it, they worked on it. And I don't even think, Wes, they fully hit their stride until they launched the Quest version. Like I think the Quest version was at one point was the better version. Like I think they polished everything up from that Steam version, learned a whole bunch of lessons, so that when they finally did launch it onto Quest, it had a really good launch and there wasn't a whole bunch of jank there. So I think it was way better. And I'm hopeful that'll be the same for PlayStation, that they've kind of like learned probably a few things from the Quest version that they'll now move to the PlayStation version. And yeah, I have I have no doubt and every reassurance, I think, that this is going to be great.
Headset haptics, advanced controller haptics, adaptive triggers, running at 90 frames in the OLED headset. This is going to be great. I'm very much looking forward to this. What's up, Mickey Barrio? Mickey Barrio's joining us in the chat. Good to see you, friend. Anyways, we have one more new release to talk about. Actually, there was more. There was more than just one more, but I didn't want to spend a full hour on what's out this week. So we picked one more to talk about, and you'll actually recognize this one as it's something that we talked about very recently. Astro Hunters VR, as previously mentioned on Strangers in the Night, is coming to the MetaQuest platform this week. In spite of it being in a kind of an early access state, unofficial early access, a lot of potential we saw in this one, yes?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had fun in it when we were in there. Like, I think it was like you could see where it was going and, what it was going to be. And, I think we were both pleasantly surprised when we came out of Astro Hunters. And I remember talking about this. I'm like, is this going to the Quest? And you're like, I think it is. And like, I was kind of shocked that they were going to put this to the Quest because I'm very curious to see. I haven't not played that version yet, so I'm very curious to see what it looks like.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like how it's going to translate, because I mean, pretty high resolution environments in this game, and yeah, I'm very curious to see how it translates. I'm curious to see if they're going to have a Quest 3 enhancement ready to go with it, because I think this would translate pretty well to a Quest 3. I'm just not so sure how it's going to look on Quest 2, but I guess we'll find out soon enough as this game comes this Thursday to MetaQuest.
These are big worlds too. Like, you know what I mean? Like these open environments. I don't know, man. It's got me a little nervous. I hope they pull it off. I hope it'll be amazing because it looks awesome in Steam, and it definitely gives you like vibes of No Man's Sky and stuff like that, but like with a Tarkov twist on it, which I love. But man, I don't know how they're gonna pull this off, West.
Yeah, I don't know either. But we will know soon enough. And on that note, we turn to some viewer comments. Viewer comments. Viewer comments. And we kick it off with that Dank Cheese, who says, LOL. Everything you guys said about Astro Hunters is spot on when you first start. I was getting frustrated, but after 3 or 4 hours, I started to figure it all out. If you looked at your left wrist for a second and a half, a menu pops up and shows your stats and the current mission you have at the top. You always have a random mission as soon as you drop in. There's no need to get them from an NPC. You just turn the items in to them at the end. The upgrades aren't obvious to find either, but they're in the same menu that you select your inventory from. Crafting items, upgrading guns have their own upgrade stations on the mothership. Once you learn the resources, it all starts becoming much clearer. I'm actually enjoying the game and really look forward to the Quest release. The game has a small player base currently. I haven't seen one person in almost 7 hours of gameplay. So that Dank Cheese pretty much pointing out our main point from our impressions, that this game just really needs a tutorial, like really badly.
Yeah, and that was like our biggest thing, right? Like, you have to be careful getting into these games, like, and there are games that are meant to be like this. Like, again, Tarkov is a game that doesn't hold your hand, and they want it that way, but you just can't do those things in VR. Like, it's too hard. And like it was one of the only things that I think we really had a problem with this game, Wes, was just we didn't know what the fuck to do. Like, there's like nothing. It was like nothing like to help you, and there's a lot of shit you can do in this game. Like, we couldn't even figure out how to get like some of the missions from the person that's supposed to give you missions, and how to turn stuff in. So
like Dank Cheese was just saying, we had the missions the whole time. We just didn't know where to see them at.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that I know all of that, I think I could probably go in there and have a good time with it. But I don't know, because Oblivion 486 says, I played the Astro Hunter beta and it was extremely boring. The AI was garbage, the gunplay was bad, the world is boring. There was not a single interesting thing to me about it. It was a huge disappointment after really enjoying Survival Nation, which never got fully realized before they put this out. What is even more disappointing is that this was originally supposed to be a single-player space exploration game, and they decided to be lazy and making an extraction shooter that's dead on arrival. Well, tell us what you really think, Oblivion 486. But that just goes to show you, Eric, that everyone has their own opinion and their own taste, right? Dank Cheese loves it. Oblivion hates it. And we were kind of somewhere in the middle, but I think I'd probably fall a little bit more on the side of Dank Cheese had I known everything then that I know now. But with that said, this is definitely more a you game than a me game. This is something that I could probably play, 2, 3, 4 times tops, and then I'll be done with it. Where you can play these fucking extraction shooters to the end of time, right?
I could play them for hundreds of hours. I love extraction shooters. I mean, they lend to some of the best like gaming experiences as to like tenseness and like making a game feel like it's there's legitimate repercussions for not doing something where you can just lose everything. I don't know. I love extraction shooters. Now, I would disagree wholeheartedly with whoever that other person was. I don't remember what did you say their name was?
Oblivion 486. Yeah.
But the problem is I don't think we put enough time in it for me to say. Like, like for what I played, I thought it was fun. I thought the AI was good. I played twice, in the game. So like I can't say it was like too easy. The AI seemed like it had some decent, did decently well. But I never extracted. You extracted once. I mean, so I don't know if I have enough in here to really say whether Oblivion's wrong. I can tell you this, that everything I saw when I was in there, it was kind of the opposite of what he said, for sure. But hey, if he's got 50 hours in this thing and I only got 2, I mean, I would,
He also said he played the beta, so it could be a different game now than it was when he played it. So.
Yeah, I mean, AI could be completely different now, right? I mean, maybe the AI, a lot of times when you're playing early stuff like that, a lot of those finer point things they don't fix until like towards the end of life, and AI is one of them. AI is one of the last things you try and get right, and so I could see where if the AI was stupid and like you had no problems getting there. Plus, when you're playing a beta, an extraction shooter is as much about fighting the environment and fighting the NPCs, but it's about fighting the live people in there. So like, I'd want to know, like, were there multiple people in there when he was in there? Like, was there,
I bet
other
there
people
wasn't.
trying to kill him? Yeah, I mean, so that changes everything. Like, the whole idea of an extraction shooter is, yes, you're battling the environment, you're battling the other NPCs that are in there, but you're battling other players to keep your shit or to take their shit. If there's nobody in there to make that to give weight to that, then it is a boring game. Then it's just like, there's almost no. And if the AI is crap, then yeah, I could see where it would be boring. So I'd like him to play it now and then come back. So Oblivion, this is your new task. If you're going to claim shit like that,
Wait until it launches on Quest and there's players in there. Anyway, we move along to the next comment from Go Rapid Studio. It said, "Hey there, we're so happy to see the burst in your video. The prologue is like a little tutorial that shows you all of the mechanics and lets you play them out in their fullest form. After that, in the main part of the game, you start out with an unupgraded version of it, and your equipment improves, and you get to master all of these mechanics again. We've also watched your broadcast, and we're excited to announce that the moment of the first improvement is coming soon." So, yeah, we made quite a big deal last week out of jabbing these guys for not sending us review keys, and we thought it was funny because we were the only ones that basically didn't completely shit on their game. And since then, we've got this message from them. They've emailed me. They sent me keys. They're telling me that an update's coming. They're making sure that all of the things the questions that we had about, does the wall running come back? Does the grappling come back? They're making sure that we know that it does, which is great because that was the funnest part of the game. And I was super confused because I played 3 hours and never grappled or wall run one time in the whole stream. So I'm now optimistic about this game again, because it was a pretty solid game. The AI was kind of dumb. But besides that, I like the world. I like the gameplay loop and the gameplay mechanics of it. So I think I'm going to watch for that update to come. And when the update drops, I think we'll revisit the burst because I see a lot of potential in it. I don't remember. Did you play the burst or not?
I did. I did not as far as you did, but I went in, and checked it out just because I thought we were going to talk about it coming into Game of the Month. So I went in and checked it out as much as I could. And I exactly everything you said is I felt the same exact way. Like, I wanted what they had given me in the beginning, and they should have kept that going. But my question is, how long is this game now? Then, if you went 3 hours and you hadn't gotten that back, and they're saying it comes back, like how long? What's the length of time in this game?
I don't know. Hopefully, it goes on for a while. I have no idea how long it is. You know who hates it when she doesn't know how long it is?
My mom!
Yeah, she does. Anyway,
I can't hear it anymore, Wes.
Oh, you can't hear
Things
it
have
anymore?
changed. No, things have changed now. I can't hear the trailers, and I can't hear.
Oh, that's weird. Why would that be? I wonder. Am I still streaming it? Maybe my stream crashed.
Oh, that's why you're not sharing your screen anymore.
Yeah, that's
why.
what it is. Yep. Okay, we'll be back. It'll be back next week. But no, thank you to Go Rapid Studio for clarifying. Thank you for recognizing the error of your ways and being super cool to us over the last week. We look forward to checking out your update whenever it drops. Main fan says you can pick head aim or 3 degrees of freedom aim in any UEVR game in input in the mod menu. Usually the entire HUD will move with your head or your hands, whichever one you pick. With that said, I've gotten a number of DMs from people this week, Eric, sharing profiles for RoboCop, and apparently we were just doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Apparently.
No, it's good to know. It's good to know. It's just for me, it's another one of those things where I don't want to have to fuck around with a profile. Like, you know what I mean? And I know it's not that hard, but again, I've already, the whole idea of the UEVR is so I can one click it and just go into VR and and that's what I want to do. And that's why, as great as UEVR is, and it's freaking amazing, I just want to play it on the store. Like, I literally just want to play it on the store. Like, because, like, you know, I just don't want to have to go find the profile. Like, you know, the whole idea of me being able to pull up UEVR, hit the inject button, and play is exactly what I want to do. If I have to do more than that, I mean, I'll go do it if I really want to play the game, like if it's important to me. You know, is RoboQuest or RoboCop that important to me to go find the profile? And 3 people sent me profiles, by the way, just DM me with profiles.
Same,
So,
yeah.
but is RoboQuest that important for me to take the time to go do it? I don't know. Maybe it was a good game. I had fun with it. But yeah, I want there not to have to be profiles.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Like they could potentially do it something like what Vorpex did, right? Where you load it up and it automatically pulls all the community profiles up.
Do
and
it,
you just
yeah.
pick one and hit the button. So I get it. Yeah, you know, in this case with RoboCop, people are sending us profiles, so that they're easy to load. It literally just click on it and then click inject and it loads. But there's a difference between that and then having to go to the fucking web page and search out and read through which profile is the best one. And like, I'm like you, I just want to play the game. I don't want to have to do all that. That's why I normally don't. I just, you know, inject it and play. And normally it works out for the best that way, but obviously there's going to be outliers.
Yeah, no, and I had fun with it still. Like, I still had fun with it the way it was, you know, but I guarantee I would have had more fun if I had probably used the profile. But next time.
Looper says, Hello Cruel World does add variety in the puzzles once you reach the next floor, but it's nothing too crazy different up until close to the ending sequence. So yeah, that was another one I kind of quit wondering if it ever got any different because it stayed the same for so long that I started to kind of get bored with it, even though I thought the story was cool and I thought the environments were cool. So it's good to know that that it does change it up a little bit. Is that enough to get me back in there? I'm not so sure, but it's good to know. Thank you for sharing, Looper. Scion says, I guess Anthony will have to come out of retirement and be a guest host until Ruuts returns. I think Ruuts and Anthony should start their own show.
Oh my God.
Right? I think they have a lot in common these days. So
They do. I mean, they did have their own show for a little while.
Yeah, that's right. They had that conspiracy show, didn't they?
Yeah, Dark Frequencies.
There we go.
Bring it back. Let's go.
Main Fan says, hopefully Ruuts doesn't pull a Justin and Alex. Well, here's the thing.
Those guys.
When those guys left, the show got way better. So if it gets better again now, then we'll take it.
You know what's funny now? You know what's funny? Yeah, exactly. You know what's funny now though is I see Alex G more now than when he was on the show.
Yeah.
See Alex G every day.
Yeah, the difference is that Main Fan and Alex still like love VR, and they love VR when they left. They just hated me, so they had to go.
Oh, that's not true.
Anyway. Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it was at the time, but not anymore. So that's cool. We don't hold grudges. It's all water under the bridge, and we're glad to have Main Fan back in our audience. And like you said, we see Alex way more now than we ever did before. So.
Hell yeah. Alex is a super great member of, he works on both sides. Alex works as head of QA for Flat to VR Studios because he's excellent at QA and testing games, and he works on giving feedback on potential games that we market for Impact Reality, and he does a kick-ass job.
You know who else works both sides?
My mom!
I can't hear her. I don't know what she did. Did she say something?
She did.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did. All right. So we move on to our next reminder. This is the part of the show where we ask everyone to please take a moment of their time to join us right now in real time as we all go support our local game dev by wishlisting a game. And this week, I'm sure it will not be a big surprise to anyone, I have wishlisted Metamorphosis coming next month to Quest, and I'll drop the link in the chat here for anyone who might want to follow suit. But it doesn't matter what game that you wish list, just so long as you wish list something. It's something very easy that you can do. It only takes a moment, and it means the world to these studios, especially these indie studios that are trying to make a name for themselves. So yeah, everyone who wish listed a game, thank you for your time, and I appreciate it, and so do the devs. Looper says Alex was conducting one of my flat to VR demos at Gamescom. Very cool dude.
Yes, he was.
Looper also points out that you can try the Metamorphosis flat demo with Unreal Engine VR. It's good to know for those of you out there who don't want to play on Quest. It'll be a good comparison to make, right? To see how the native VR Quest version stacks up to the flat version modded into VR on Steam.
Yeah, for sure.
We shall see. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can support us, our channel, our community, and everything that we're doing over here. Of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe. It's the easiest thing that you can do. There's a button over there. You're already watching the shows. They're popping up in your feed and you're clicking on them. So it's not going to be any different. You're going to click on subscribe. The only difference is you're going to get a notification 30 minutes before we delay the show for another hour. And then you'll get another notification 30 minutes before we delay it again. And anyway, you'll be notified when we go live or before we go live. And you'll be helping us to defeat the evil algorithm that YouTube uses to repress us all. So subscribe, ring the bell, click the thumbs up, do all the little clicky things that you can to help us grow. Now, if you've already done that and you want to do something a little extra, you can support us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 per month, you get things like our show notes, which, by the way, I didn't send show notes today. I do have like regular show notes I can share with you guys. I just did not have time to do the cutting room floor today. I hope you understand that it took so much more time than it normally takes for me to build out and do a show. So hopefully the patrons will understand that, at least while I'm being the producer, that the show notes aren't going to normally have the cutting room floor in them. With that said, we are, giving exclusive content more often, and I plan to do that, way more often now, since I'm going to be largely playing what I want to play on Saturdays in preparation for Saturdays. I'm going to capture more of that. I'm going to do more exclusive gameplays for Patreons to make up for the fact that the cutting room floor is going to kind of be going away for a little while. So hopefully you all understand that. If not, then of course I understand if you want to cancel your membership. But again, if you want to support what we're doing here and help us to keep going, we've actually burned through a lot of our funding, Eric, doing these UEVR mods. I didn't realize it until this past weekend when I got in there and saw how low the number was. It's like, wow, man, we're spending it up to the point where I'm going to start now asking for review keys for flat games. Because it's getting expensive buying everyone every week. So anyway, thank you. We appreciate everyone who donates in the chat. We appreciate everyone who supports on Patreon. We're going to continue to make it worth your while as best we can. And yeah, you'll continue to get the show notes, exclusive content, insider updates, and you'll also get to join us for the end of the year selection ceremony for the 2024 show, where we pick all the winners. That's coming up faster than you think. So yeah, look forward to meeting you all again. This year we've had a better turnout year over year, and I expect that will be the case again this year. We might have to move to Oktoberfest if we're going to outgrow big screen.
That would be fun. Little meeting in Oktoberfest to like hash out who wants to do what, who wants to vote for what. Yeah. Down.
Anyway, thanks to everyone who supports on Patreon. If you don't have the money to support, of course we understand. That's why the Discord, the Virtual Strangers Discord channel is 100% free to join. That's where we hang out at 24/7, 365. We're lurking in there talking about everything, not just VR, not just video games. Talking about almost everything, except for that. Don't talk about that. But that's free to join. There's an invitation link in the description down below. All you got to do is scroll down, click, and you will be greeted at the door by an awesome community that we have accumulated over the years. Anyway, with that said, friends, I think that's our show. I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Eric and Ruuts. We miss you, Ruuts. I'm Wes. We'll see you all on Saturday. Bye.
See you later.